The smoke is cleared, and when it did, it wasn't a dream. It's actually happening. The Toronto Blue Jays are in the World Series. We're here with Kyle and Keegs. And Keegs, lead us through that night. You were there. You were in attendance. Where does this rank in your sports viewing order of greatness?
Oh man, behind my Packers Super Bowl, it's gotta be number one, guys. It's amazing. I wasn't covering the team yet in 2015, 2016. I started in 17. So certainly in terms of Blue Jays, it's obviously the number one for me. But you can start to rank the all-time moments, the all-time home runs. I think this is probably behind Carter's, a real good contender for that number two. But man, I was starting the inning prior because I've got to be ready. I have to have a full story for the final out, which means I've written a lot of stuff that never goes anywhere. And I was starting to write that story. Blue Jays lose, dream season's over. Is this a success or not? I don't know. And then when I saw that it would be George Springer coming up to the plate, you start to think, man, like this is why they brought him here. This is the entire last 5 years building up to one moment. And if the Blue Jays ever put statues around their stadium, or if they ever choose to acknowledge their history in a better way, which is long overdue, George Springer kind of jumping in the air up the line has got to be one of them, man. What a moment.
Keegan, one of the great home run celebrations I've seen in a long, long time for certain because of what it meant to an entire city and an entire country, really. Springer is just one of the many, many all-stars and great players that will be featured in the series. But this is really, at least narratively, about Ohtani versus Vladdy, isn't it?
It is. It's kind of like Vladdy versus Judge in the DS, which was great. And I really like holding up those big player matchups. I know it's not the NBA, it's not, Steph Curry versus Doncic or whatever it is, but I think baseball needs more of that. And I think that's good for growing the game of baseball, frankly. There's plenty of room for hardcore baseball fans to nerd out on which lefty reliever would face Ohtani and which arm angle he blah blah blah. Like, cool. If that's your jam, that's your jam. And I love that. But what's going to attract people to the series is Vladdy and Ohtani. It is two superstars who each of them represents an entire country. Vladdy in Canada, Shohei Ohtani in Japan as a god in Japan. So this is as good as it gets. Guys, Vladdy is the hottest hitter left in Major League Baseball right now. Shohei Ohtani is the biggest star left in baseball. This is a dream matchup. I think if you're a baseball fan, even if you're the league, I mean, Blue Jays, Dodgers, two massive stars, two big markets. Like Toronto's media numbers, like the sports viewer numbers that they got on Sportsnets for this game are stupid.
Well, what? I haven't
Like
seen them. What were they?
they were, I think, average 6 million, peaked at 8 point something
Wow.
million. When
Wow.
I tell Blue Jays numbers to my colleagues who live in America, they don't believe me. Like they actually think I'm wrong about it. They're numbers that other local markets do not get. So an incredible series, but man, you're right. It's Ohtani, it's Vladdy, it's the history with Ohtani. I just love it.
Scary thing is Otani's fourth in the rotation. Uh, we'll get to that. How close, or was it even close at all, Ohtani becoming a Blue Jay, or is that just a pipe dream, the plane that never took off?
Very close. And I think what I learned, guys, through working on that chapter for my book a couple of years back was that it was real. And I know it's easy to feel like Toronto was being used, but that's little brother thinking, that I think that Toronto doesn't need anymore. Like Toronto's a pretty large market. And it's okay for people in the US to think about Toronto as this little snowy outpost. But I think people in Toronto do that to themselves too much. And I'm not from Toronto. This isn't my home. It never will be. So I feel like I can talk about it a little looser. I like to just say I'm visiting for a very long time. But I think that too many Toronto sports fans get into that, oh, little old us. We're being used by the big US team. No, Toronto's a huge market. It is an international market. It's an appealing market for players. And the Blue Jays went stride for stride with the Dodgers. I think in the end, you just can't pick up Toronto and put it on the West Coast. And that's going to matter for some people. And the Blue Jays went all in on the money. They went all in on their pursuit. with showing Ohtani around their complex, everything they did for him. Like, they went all out. And I think that they were a legitimate, very, very close second place. And it still stings for Blue Jays fans. But I can't believe they have a chance to rewrite that this quickly. Like, I thought the Dodgers were going one way and the Blue Jays were going the complete opposite way. So for them to have this matchup again less than 2 years later is pretty damn cool.
Keegan, this might be a bit of a pipe, but what are the chances the Dodgers once again send Robert Herjavec to Toronto instead of Ohtani on a plane?
Man, that poor guy. I'll always remember that name. What else was there? There was the opera singer who said he'd heard a sushi. Like, just the stupidest characters got brought
It
into
was
this
great.
entire mess. The flight disaster. I mean, my God. I remember the pictures of people standing on their back deck taking videos up into the sky of flights going over their houses. Some, even though they won't admit it, a lot of reporters driving out to the airport is just ridiculous.
And that was before AI. I got sucked into one where it was like, oh, he just got captured at one of the private plane terminals. And I'm like, there's him. He's here. He's landed.
Yeah, and then that turned out to be like an old picture of
Yes.
some sort because
Yeah.
people zoomed in on the background and the sun was in a different place. And I remember that day vividly, guys, because I had been away at the winter meetings and we decided to do my girlfriend's birthday on that day, the 8th or the 9th or whatever it was. We're supposed to meet a bunch of her friends down at a bar. And the day's kind of going on, and I'm starting to think, oh man, I'm going to ruin this day. And I think eventually I just had to throw my credit card and be like, go, I'll come eventually. But what a mess, man. I'll never forget sitting on Twitter all day that day. I still have, and I put it in the book, the story I had written for if the Blue Jays signed him, because I had to have it ready. And it was all there. I just had a couple of blank spaces to put in the years and the numbers. And I've still got it here somewhere. But man, legitimately really close.
Okay, Keegan. So the rosters are due at 10 a.m. on Friday morning. Will Bo Bichette be on the Jays roster? And if he is, how does he now fit into this lineup?
I think he will be. And as you're saying Friday morning, I just looked off screen. I was like, what day is it now? It's Wednesday. Friday morning. We're in the World Series, baby. But I
Yeah.
do think Bo Bichette will be on the roster. What that looks like, I'm way more curious about. So when I spoke to Bo afterwards in the clubhouse, he says, I'll be ready. And when he was asked when he felt that, he said, for a few days now, right around when Santander went down, which was, I feel like Bo's way of saying, like, I should have been on the roster already or something. But I do think Bo's ready. I do think he will be on the roster. But whether you DH him or play him defensively is a big question. DHing feels better for Bo, but do you want to put George Springer suddenly back in the outfield, which he's barely played the last 3 months after the series he just had, after taking that fastball off the knee? Like, he's not 100% at all. I don't know what the right answer is, guys. If you play Bo in the field, you have Jimenez back at second. Maybe Barger gets bumped out of the lineup. One of your corner platoon outfield bats gets bumped. It's tough. I don't know which one makes sense.
Here's my question with Bo returning, if he does. In the regular season, you come back from injury, you can get up to speed on major league pitching
Yes.
in real time. In a 7-game series, that's tough to do.
And you can only face your own guys so much. I know that people like to nerd out on the traject machine, which for our people looking, it's like a big video board and it plays a video of the pitcher. So it's like a really souped up version of going to a batting cage where they have that video pitcher. And it's pretty close. It's pretty cool, but it's not real. And you can only face your own team's AAA relievers so much, you know? So facing live pitching is one thing. And if there's anyone I trust to do it, it's Bo Bichette, because he is a natural hitter. What I mean by that is that he's not all tied up and tangled with mechanics and needing to have his foot here, his head here, his chest here. Like, he's just naturally moving at the plate. So I trust that more than a mechanics nut at the plate. But still, man, this is 6 going on 7 weeks without facing real pitching, without facing game speed. And you're not just coming back to a game, you're coming back to the World Series against the Dodgers. I trust Bo so much, but I still got to say that's one really steep hill to climb.
And Keegan, I don't think it's unfair to say that if we suddenly field the roster with both Springer and Bichette in the field with knee injuries, we are now fairly downgrading what is arguably the best defense in Major League Baseball. There's just no way around that.
Or we
Yeah, not
have a
great.
bunch of Kirk Gibsons hobbling to the plate.
A
Maybe.
whole army
Yeah,
of
you
them.
got to score. And that's the bet you're making. You're betting that Bo is going to do something offensively to
Mhm.
offset it. Kind of like Santander when they were playing him in the DS and a bit of the CS. You knew he wasn't right. You knew it wasn't pretty, but you were hoping he'd hit a home run. Like the Blue Jays essentially gambled 4 or 5 times that Santander would hit a home run while hobbling around the outfield. And it didn't really happen. It didn't really work. So you're kind of hoping it's a little bit different because baseball's so individualized. It's not like we're talking about the NFL where you can shift your coverage and give a really crappy cornerback a safety help over the top or anything. Like if you've got a shortstop with a bum knee, you've just got a shortstop with a bum knee. Like there's no helping this. So you've got to hope that they don't get any balls in the hole. You've got to hope that George Springer is not forced to go crash into a wall. And no matter what they do, guys, if Bo is at shortstop or a DH, they're risking something.
Yeah.
Like they're taking a bet on something here. And it's a good problem to have, but you can still screw up a good problem. You still need to find the right answer to a good problem. And honestly, I don't know what that is right now. It's going to be awfully interesting to see how they handle it.
Okay, here's my my ratings checklist. Keegs, tell me if you're on the same page. Starting pitching, got that with the Dodgers, as my Dodgers friend calls the Dodgers starting pitching, the Avengers. The bullpens, I think it's a saw off.
Yeah,
Depth, I think the Blue Jays have it there, and impact of star players, the Dodgers have the edge there. Am
I
I
think
am I
so.
bang on all those?
I think so. You can't outstar the Dodgers, and the rotation's ridiculous. I think the Dodgers guys are the better team. And I was saying this on TV last night and on the radio, and I kept saying, like, listen, don't clip me. Don't make that the headline because you don't need to be the better team. You just need to win 4 games quicker than the other team. And if these two teams were playing a best of 99 series, sure, I think the Dodgers are it. They are a powerhouse. They're a juggernaut. And I don't think you can even take the regular season record seriously. I think they've just been built for this exact moment. And you saw what they did to the Brewers in the NLCS. The Brewers are a damn good baseball team, and they dominated them. So I think that the Dodgers are the most talented. Maybe I shouldn't say best. By far the most talented team in Major League Baseball. The Blue Jays just need to find a way to win 4 games first. And that means they need to steal a game. Somebody needs to steal a game. It's probably got to be Vladdy. Like I know that it's nice that they have the everyone, oh golly, Miles Straw or Tyler Heineman helped this win in August. Cool. It's October. It's the Dodgers. You need Vladdy or George Springer, someone like that, but probably Vladdy to hit 2 home runs and win a game 7-6 somewhere along the way. That tilts the series. Then you can talk about it being a 50-50 fight, but they got to steal one.
Keegan, do we have any sense right now of who will be starting game 1 for the two teams?
Not yet. We'll find out tomorrow. I'm betting early afternoon when we talk to John Schneider for the Blue Jays. The Dodgers will go Snell, Yamamoto, I believe. But I mean, good luck with Blake Snell. He's been wild. If they can wait out Blake Snell and get him walking a few guys like the Blake Snell we used to see with the Rays, maybe you can get to him. But the Blue Jays will have a choice between Gosman and Savage. Gosman pitched in relief in Game 7. Maybe they treat that just as a bullpen day. Maybe they want to give him some real rest for game 2. I'm kind of attracted to that idea. Trey Savage would be on regular rest for game 1. That would be one hell of an assignment for the guy from single A to start this year, but he's risen to every single one so far. I don't think it matters a ton, game 1, game 2, what order they're in, because they'll both be able to come back around. Then I still think they stick with Bieber and Scherzer in 3-4 and roll it the way they have and hope for a lot better from Bieber at the very least. But these starting pitchers, they just need to come close. I don't think they're going to beat the Dodgers starting pitchers, but they've got to keep it close.
2 interesting tidbits about this series. It starts on Drake's birthday. So we've
Wow.
got Kendrick versus Drake for the World Series. And for the second series in a row, we have a Canadian at first base for the opposing team. Freddie Freeman is a dual citizen, but his mom was born right here in the city I'm sitting in, Peterborough, Ontario. So for the second series in a row, we have some CanCon.
I like it, man. I'm excited to see all the just the stuff that goes on around this. I'm in Seattle, like I think Seattle did a little cooler with the anthems and the ceremonies and all that stuff. They had Pearl Jam's guitarist out doing the electric guitar anthem. I I mean, an orchestra doesn't really fire me up, Toronto. I'm sorry. But who do they bring out? On MLB.com, we have the old video vault of the old 93 videos. And they had Aretha Franklin. They had Michael Bolton out doing the anthem in Toronto. Like, I want to see some real stars. Not just Canadiana, here's the local guy, but like I want to see some big timers.
Maybe Buble, because Shohei Ohtani has Michael Buble as his
There we
walk-up
go.
song.
Which I didn't know somehow until last night. Like this popped up on my Instagram algorithm, a video of Michael Bublé talking about it. I just I'm always at Jays games. I don't have time to watch much other baseball. And I did not know that Ohtani used Michael Bublé until like 12 hours ago. And if you had given me a million guesses, Jesus, Michael Bublé would not have been on there.
Keegan, going back to the likely game one starter for the Dodgers very quickly, Blake Snell. He's obviously just dealing right now, and he's a problem because he's not walking guys anymore all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the Game 7 ALCS lineup where the Jays featured 4 left-handed batters. Is that going to change when Snell pitches? And is that the perfect time to reinsert Bichette and say, hey, here's one of the best right-handed batters in the entire league. We're going for it in Game 1.
I think so. You might see Davis Schneider too instead of Nathan Lucas, but make Bo Bichette go up and waste 20 pitches over 2 or 3 at bats. That's the ticket. The ticket is to get Blake Snell out after 5 innings and not 7 innings, because then you get into the middle of LA's bullpen. The back end of any bullpen this time of year, just like Hoffman and Dominguez, is going to be good. It's the World Series. The bullpens are okay, but you need to get into those middle arms. And we've seen Blake Snell over the years be that guy who can only last 4 or 5 innings because he walks a few guys, he's not putting them away. The Blue Jays need to somehow turn him back into that, because we're seeing an elite version of Blake Snell right now. He looks unbelievable. Same with Yamamoto, same with Ohtani, same with this whole rotation. But if they can get him out of the zone a bit, if Bo Bichette can have a 10 or 12 pitch at bat like he always does, that's the start of this. So you probably see Davis Schneider. You definitely see Ernie Clement in there, lefty masher, and then the rest of this lineup lines up pretty well. But man, you got to get Snell out early.
You know who I was happiest for that the Blue Jays won the World Series? Brendan Little. I'm like, this guy can return to a normal life. Did you get to see him after they won? And did you get to see the weight of the world be removed from his shoulders?
Yeah, he looked like he was having a good time, and I saw Brendan Little after that ugly start in Seattle too. And unless you're the closer, guys, a reliever is like a punter. Like if you're talking to the media, something's gone really wrong, right? I have not scrummed Brendan Little with a camera at any point in his Blue Jays career, and if you're doing that, something's gone horribly wrong. So I credit him for facing the cameras in Seattle. It's not easy, and he answered a few questions there, but now I'm interested to see if they go back to him, because for me, that's not even a baseball decision, guys. It's a personal decision. Like, do you trust his heartbeat? Do you trust that he's going to have a clear mind out there now, or will there be flashbacks to that moment? Because I could tell it impacted him. And I understand that completely on a human level. But a big, big, big decision for John Schneider, because somebody's going to have to get Shohei Ohtani out, and it's either him or Mason Fluharty, or you get really aggressive with a righty like Louis Varland.
And on that note, Keegan, are we going to see 12 or 13 pitchers on the postseason roster? Is that what big thing Schneider would be wrestling with right now?
It will, and I think that's tied to Bichette, honestly. If he can play the field, you can go heavier on pitching. But if Bo needs to DH, or if Bo is limited, or if you don't know, that's the awkward one. If you're not totally sure how this is going to go with Bo Bichette, then you're stuck carrying that last position player, whether it be Loper Fido or Kiner Falefa, just as protection. But the Blue Jays do have room for some sort of specialist. I don't think they have that true left on left mega specialist, a regular guy. They carry Justin Brule in the DS, but are you going to roll out that against Shohei? I don't think so. It's going to be a big one, and I think the Jays will take that right down to the line. Like, we're not going to get their roster till I bet you 10:30, 11 a.m. after the deadline Friday. But there's a real argument to be made. It just all hinges on Bo.
I'll let you leave on this one. I know your temperature zone in which you're happy, Keegs. So most people, I'd say, all right, well, after they finish their games here in Toronto, you get to go to LA, have fun. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, Keegs probably wanted to go to Milwaukee.
Ooh, that's tough. I'm just bringing up the The temperatures
Oh, it was
here, yeah,
80 in
next
LA yesterday.
Monday and Tuesday, 26, 29 Celsius, 29 Celsius. The dream never ends. And fellas, this is even a bigger consideration now that I'm doing so much TV stuff because I can write a story and nobody knows if I'm sweaty, if I'm hungover, what I am. They don't know a thing. They just see my smiling face atop the story, which is a picture from a decade ago. But you can't hide it on TV. So we'll see. It'll be a tough one, fellas.
Okay, thanks, buddy.
Thanks,
You
Keith.
got her.
Keegan Matheson, our Blue Jays insider, he's been with us every single step of the way, starting in the first week of this. Actually, I think we started talking to Keegs in spring training once a week, all season long. It was a roller coaster, and look where it got us. Now it's my time to interview you, Kyle, because I don't have the bandwidth to watch anything except the Blue Jays. So you are my Leafs insider. What is going on with the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Well, I'll tell you this much, Dan. I got together with Pierre Maguire here on Toronto Sports Rush last night to do a little post-game wrap, and it was not kind, nor should it be, because the Toronto Maple Leafs are off to a inconsistent, rocky, and terrible start, to be quite frank. They lost again. They lost to the New Jersey Devils, who won their sixth straight last night, and they looked poor doing it. And to bring things all to a summary, because let's be honest, this is a baseball town right now. The Toronto Blue Jays have the Toronto Maple Leafs have approximately 7 to 10 more days to fly under the radar, whatever version of that exists in a media market like Toronto. And then they better get their act together.
Yeah, that's what the Jays did at the start of this year because the Jays stumbled.
Well, the Leafs are stumbling, and though they've built a new roster in Craig Berube's image, they're not playing that brand of hockey. They have the team on paper to do it, but they're not doing it. We heard about Anthony Stolarz's outburst. Outburst is a strong word, but his comments about the team, he was correct, and they corrected nothing last night. They played 4 good minutes at the end of the game and 2 good minutes at the start, and otherwise they were flat. And now they're going into Buffalo and doing a home and home against Buffalo this weekend. The Buffalo team has changed, Dan, and they are a high-powered offense. I'm not sure the Leafs can skate with them anymore. Austin Matthews was not the best American player on the ice. That was definitely Jack Hughes. And this thing is broken, and it's early. It's too early to panic, but it needs to get fixed in a hurry.
And the Leafs have changed some start dates. So if you're going to a Leafs game, check the schedule. If you're planning on watching a Leafs game, check the start time. And the Toronto Raptors also, because they know the entire country is going to be watching the World Series. So they're trying to accommodate that, knowing they aren't going to have a lot of eyeballs. And that includes the Raptors home opener.
Yeah, that's a bit of an awkward one too, right? Because there's always so much circumstance and celebratory things happening during a home opener.
Yeah, but really, what's there to celebrate from last Raptors season? Maybe it's best that everyone forgot.
Yeah, maybe they'll just run highlight clips of Kawhi's shot or something, and they'll just cut it short this year, do the land acknowledgement, and then off the court and off to the races they go.
Or just show a Blue Jays highlight reel. That'll get the crowd going.
Listen, if you want energy in concession sales, that's the move to make. Just play that George Springer trot down first base and the leap on loop. Maybe even during the game might not be the worst approach.
I had some friends try to get World Series tickets, and they jumped in the queue as soon as it opened up, and immediately 65,000 people were in front of them. Another friend found some tickets on StubHub, and if you want to be lower bowl, one friend said it was $9,000, another said 14 grand. So these aren't 1993 prices anymore.
They sure aren't, Dan. And to be very clear, I would actually rather be here with you. And with the money I'm not spending on tickets, perhaps I will buy myself a 140-inch TV on which I can enjoy the games, because the prices for modern sporting events, and especially the World Series in a city like Toronto, are completely insane.
I'm at the age now, and I don't say this joking. I'm like, I come up with a figure on how much you would have to pay me to go because of scheduling things at home, getting down there, the traffic. And I'm like, my couch is good.
Dan, what if these fine folks right here could provide us with some sort of box for the
Hey,
game
we
or
have a
something?
box that free is a good price.
And we
I'm
have the
all for free.
technology. We could do the show from there. I'm just saying to whoever's listening, that could happen.
Oh yeah, and then you get ice cream bars in the 8th. And they got popcorn. It'd be a great treat to do it from there. And again, free 99 is my favorite price.
It would be the dream, and I'm sure the wheels are ticking behind the scenes right now, figuring out how exactly to make that happen.
Yeah, they're like, who the hell did we get out? All our executives? Or
Yeah, right.
actually, I don't even know who's in there. There was second last time I went, there was a guy with a Bet Rivers shirt on. And I was talking to the guys after. They're like, hey, anyone else in there? I'm like, yeah, there was a guy there. He works with us, right? They're like, no, there was someone in the box. And I'm like, so there was some rando in the box that no one knew who he was. And I'm like, that guy was the greatest salesman. He just looked like he belonged there.
I'll say this much, Dan. Bet Rivers is by far the best sports book, the best sports betting app, the best casino app, but their in-game security is absolutely terrible.
Yeah, they are the best. Okay, well, we're back here Friday, and then we're back here after game 1 of the World Series. So it's a busy Friday. We hope you will join us.